I want to take a moment here to talk about why I love the Tyson category in Doom speedrunning, and why I think it's a little underrated. And the example I'm going to be using is one I just did this morning. This is Nostalgia, MAP06. And the thing about this map is it doesn't have a chainsaw, and it doesn't have a berserk kit. Now, there's also probably people watching this who are like, what the fuck is this shit? What am I watching? So, Tyson is a speedrun category for Doom, where you need to kill every monster in a level only using the fist, pistol, and chainsaw. And now people may be wondering, why the chainsaw? Why the pistol? Well, the chainsaw is also a melee weapon, and if you pick up a chainsaw in some levels, you cannot actually go back to the fist. Why the pistol? Well, there's lots of ranged monsters that are in a lot of levels that can't be killed with melee only. So really, it's the point is it's a restriction to only use the low tier weapons. Though berserk is probably arguably stronger than a shotgun or chain gun, but hey, whatever. We're just having fun here. Now for this level, there is again no berserk and no chainsaw. Now, what I like about these levels here is that there's a lot of strategy required, because Doom has infighting, one of the best features of the game. It really, I mean, like, if Doom didn't have infighting, I wouldn't be playing it every day, let's just put it that way. It is a fundamental, vital feature, especially for speedrunning. And Tyson demos like this one rely on infighting for most of the kills. And I'm gonna put this on 2x here. Just, you know, because it is a 16-minute run. I don't want to sit here the whole 16 minutes because I'll run out of shit to say. But right now, the goal here is to get everything dead. You need to exit the level, every monster is killed. And the thing about this map, aside from the weapon limits, is that there's a lot of big monsters, you know, like Mancubi, Arachnotrons, Revenants, Barons, and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cramped rooms as well. And so there's lots of ways. I like that. I'm just going to rewind that. That stray imp fireball. Look at that. Boom. I like it. Yeah, so there's a lot of crammed areas. It's hard to maneuver past some of these guys. You know, it took me maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes of play to get this, and this is a 16-minute run, so that's including the 16 minutes of this last demo here, but I almost got to the end a couple times, and so my strategies here are a little refined, but, you know, I'm sure it can be improved, and obviously infighting can always be quicker, because it's ultimately very random, and that's one thing I like about the Tyson category, just to tie this all back, is that it's, for a lot of times when you're doing a Tyson run, going quickly is not necessarily the way you're going to play it, you know? Like, it is a speed run, obviously. The time, we are tracking the time here. But it's mostly, a lot of the time, doing a Tyson run is about just being able to do it. Most players, when they're doing a Tyson run, are usually doing a run that hasn't been done before. So they're just developing a way where people might not necessarily think it's impossible to do a level Tyson, but they, you know, it's just, it seems hard and it seems daunting, and a lot of people just don't want to try whatsoever. Now this part here, there's a lot more infighting that I do in this corner, but that Baron, if you can see that Baron way far away, that guy can shoot me when I'm in that corner. So as soon as I grab this key, there's an archvile, and these guys are hell on earth. And my strategy here was to use this window to get these guys to kill each other. And again, the time, now, I think you could probably, if everything were to go perfectly, you could probably get this in under 10 minutes, maybe even 8 minutes, if you were to, you know, get really lucky with a lot of these infights. But again, it's mostly just about the challenge. And that's one thing that a lot of people, when they think about speedrunning, they think about, oh, the people play the same thing over and over and over and over again until they get the perfect run. And while that is speedrunning, speedrunning encompasses challenge runs as well, in a way that I think at least maybe people in the speedrunning community or people that do speedruns know this, but a lot of people outside, they just assume that speedrunning is all about beating a game as fast as possible. But the thing about challenge runs in the umbrella of speedrunning, because again, ultimately we're doing a speedrun. We want to beat the game as fast as possible, or in this instance, kill every monster with just the low-tier weapons as fast as possible. And you can do it faster, but it's mostly just about, is this possible? Can I do it? And now, as you can see here, I'm trying to bait these guys. Oh, this is when it gets bad. This Archvile probably could have killed me, okay? Like, I would have been fucked here, but fortunately, they were already pretty close, and they revived those imps that were firing at him from the back, so I didn't actually get hit there. I was fucking scared shitless, I will be honest with you. We're now at 1.5x speed here. But, you know, you can do any sort of challenge parameter under the guise of a speed run. And really the main distinction, and now again, there are segmented speedruns and task runs that you can do saving and loading and stuff like that. But the main difference between a regular challenge run of anything and a speed run is that you want to beat it in one sitting. And to me, that does change the parameters. Not everyone wants to do that kind of stuff, but, you know, it makes it so that it's more of an endurance fest. You can't abuse things like saving and loading, right? You have to do things all in one go from start to finish, and I really enjoy that kind of experience, because, especially with the Tyson category, because every time you run this, and I got to the end for this level specifically a couple times, and died usually to the last 5 monsters here, and you'll see why in a moment. Is that there's always so many different ways to do things. Things can go in wildly different directions just purely by accident. There's another Hell Knight around here that sneaks up on me because I forgot that they were alive. But now again, I don't have the Berserk kit, so I have to do regular punches on these guys. And, you know, oftentimes when I see people do challenge runs for other types of games, especially when they use saving and loading, a lot of the time, in Doom, especially even casual players, saving and loading, people will often save in impossible circumstances and then just try to brute force it and get frustrated. And that's something you just completely bypass with doing a run all the way through from one sitting. You see all the different ways things can go, and it gives you a broader understanding of what the task at hand is. So that's just one thing that I would like to say about that as far as challenge runs. But now specifically back to Tyson. As you can see here, bullets are allowed. There's no rule that says you can only shoot ranged monsters with bullets. Like, how would you verify that, right? Like, you'd have to watch every demo and make sure that a shot, like, even what if you missed while shooting at a ranged monster, does it, you know? But, so you can use the pistol whenever you want. But there's not that many bullets in this map. I mean, there's enough, you know, there's enough to get to this point, but there's still 2 Barons left, and I have no power up, and I just gotta punch this motherfucker. And that's something that takes a lot of patience. You know, skill, a lot of people define skill in a very narrow sense of, like, your ability to recognize patterns and react before you getting hit. And usually skill people translate into, like, physical prowess, like your ability to physically move the controller or the mouse or the keyboard, whatever. But a huge layer of skill is having, like, patience, knowing when something is viable versus when it's not viable. Like, for example, you could probably get a run where these Barons are severely damaged by other sorts of infights and don't take this long to punch to death. You could do that. But in this instance, it didn't happen. I was forced to punch them to death. And, you know, it's only 2 Barons. It's not that bad. It only took like 5 minutes or so. And now, again, I'm sure you could do this a lot better. This would be the main thing you could cut out with better infighting. But it's like not just the skill of being able to punch the Barons, but just like, you know, the feeling when you get to this point, you run out of bullets, you know? Now at this point, I think I'm out of health kits. So it's like if I get hit, I could die in 1 hit, you know, and now I'm out of health kits. I could get killed in like 1, possibly 2 hits. And it's like, I just gotta buckle up. So it's a state of mind as well that's really exercised in the Tyson category. And again, this is only a 16-minute run. There are levels where the Tyson category is an hour, 2 hours. Some runs 3 hours of just like doing this kind of stuff. And if you die or whatever, make a mistake, do a play that's wrong, boom, you have to start over 3 hours of grueling randomness again. And I really enjoy that. It's really, really fun because it exercises parts of your brain that aren't just copy the previous route and do it slightly better. I guess this is more of like why I like Tyson category and also why I like table filling, which is a terminology for doing a category in a run or whatever that no one's ever done before, right? Because it makes you think about things. It exercises your ability to plan. Right here in this, I'm just looking for health and ammo. I'm like, oh man, am I really gonna have to punch this guy? I could die in one more hit. There's nothing left. I exhausted all my resources, so there's some time wasted there. But you know, a lot of speedrunners, or at least people aspiring or new to the speedrunning scene, they'll just look at something like Doom 1 or Doom 2 and try to copy the records and then fail tremendously because, you know, they haven't been playing the game for 10, 20, 30 years, so they don't know how to do all this stuff. And that's where stuff like this becomes extremely useful. And I'm going to pause right here because that's the exit while I wrap this up. And stuff like this becomes really useful because it exercises your awareness of the game, you know, the patterns, you know. How many people know how to punch a Baron to death, right? Like, you know, it seems easy, but like really you need to understand when and how they move, understand like what the gaps in time are. Like sometimes you can get 3-4 punches in before they hit again, but do you want to go in for that 4th punch because they haven't attacked you recently? So, you know, statistically, they're likely to attack while you're diving in for that, you know. So you learn enemy behavior a lot more when you do stuff like this, and it's like, you know, it's just it's good training for playing video games in general, to do kind of challenge runs. It helps you understand the fundamentals, the mechanics, and stuff like that. You know, I probably could go more in depth on this, and maybe I could even do a more edited presentation of such a subject. But this is why I like, in short, this is why I like the Tyson category, and also why I like table filling. This level is a really good example. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, then that's a shame. So there you go.